Don't blow up. Please, don't blow up. You blew it up! Damn you! Damn you all to hell, Marvel! You blew it up! Oh! My God. My God. One of the worst superhero movies of modern times. Fantastic Four 2015 was an attempt at a gritty reboot of the Fantastic Four franchise, or origin, or whatever, with, well, Mr. Fantastic, aka Reed Richards, the Invisible Woman, aka Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch, as well as Ben Grimm, aka the rock-hard CGI Thing, and Victor Von Doom. This movie was a complete misfire and was absolutely just wrecked from the very beginning. I mean, anybody that remembers, like on social media, how writer-director Josh Trank basically just went absolutely nuclear, saying that Marvel and all the reshoots and whatever and Fox, whatnot, interfered with his vision. This movie wasn't going to be that good because, let's be perfectly honest, the 2005 and the 2007 movies really weren't that great. But in an attempt at a gritty, more violent, darker vision of what the Fantastic Four went through, wasn't the worst idea. I will give them credit for that. The problem is a lot of this movie is so dark you couldn't see what the fuck was going on. And originally, the writer-director wanted this to be a near 2.5 hour movie. But that got trimmed down to basically about an hour and 40 minutes. And once you actually got the credits rolling, it was actually more like about 93 minutes. Now, I'm not saying that a 2.5 hour vision would have worked. It could have included more action sequences. It could have included more stuff that might have fleshed things out, because, boy, does this movie really rush its conclusion. But the thing is, it's not much longer than the 05 or 07 movies. And it also features about the same level of enthusiasm, at least in the first one. The second one, the Silver Surfer one, at least they tried to capture the humor, but they didn't really do a great job, especially with the Silver Surfer's origin and whatnot. And this movie just was so goddamn bad. The reshoots, the fact that Miles Teller, who plays Reed Richards, had facial hair that would appear and disappear. You had Kate Mara as Sue Storm, who her hair would change colors and change styles because she had cut her hair, and then the reshoots necessitated her wearing a wig that didn't even look close to what she goddamn had, for the original hair. And then you had Jeremy Slater, no relation to Dick Slater. I don't think, at least. Was he related to Christian Slater? He did the Lazarus Effect, which, by the way, might explain a lot. And by the way, Josh Trank did Chronicle, which was fun and certainly captured at least the spirit of trying to do something with a well-worn trope, just make a found-footage superhero movie. But Jeremy also had something to do with the Moon Knight show, as well as the Netflix version of Death Note. I tried watching, I didn't get very far into it because it wasn't very good. It's also written by Simon Kinberg, who did X-Men Last Stand. He did Jumper, not the Third Eye Blind song. He did Sherlock Holmes, the 2009 version. He did X-Men Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, as well as Dark Phoenix. He also did the 355. So I'm convinced that Simon Kinberg absolutely hates humanity and just wants to write really bad shit. So you do have Jamie Bell, who plays Ben Grimm. By the way, he was in All of Us Strangers, a terrific movie. Movie's magnificent on every level. Toby Kebbell, who played Koba in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Which, by the way, I will say that I have more of an appreciation for that trilogy, and especially Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes being magnificent. There was potential here. The thing is, you could tell the studio hacked this thing to bits. But you could also tell that Josh probably was in over his goddamn head. And yes, trying to take things in a different direction, not the worst idea. But once again, a $120 million budget that probably got increased due to the reshoots. I mean, nobody was a massive star at this point. And by the way, the Human Torch was played by, the future Creed and future Sinner star himself, Michael B. Jordan. Yes, Michael B. Jordan was in this. And really deserved better. A $25.6 million opening, which basically the studio said that Josh's rant cost him $10 million in ticket sales. I don't know how they figured that, because I saw the trailer for this and was like, this really doesn't look that good. And I have seen it, before now. It's just, I tried to put it out of my mind. But in preparation for Fantastic Four First Steps, I decided to watch it. It made $56.1 million in the U.S., which for those that aren't math majors isn't even half of what the budget was. It made $167.8 million worldwide, which is about $130 million less than Silver Surfer, and about half of what the first one made, because the first one made about 30-something million more than the Silver Surfer one. Where to start with this, though? Josh Trank just going nuclear, burning his whole goddamn reputation to the ground, which, let's be perfectly honest, the guy did Chronicle, the guy would go on to do Capone, or Capone, I know it's Capone, but work with me here. Kay Mara, Miles Teller, all that. Fox had a 7-year window, and they got the 7-year itch to basically just reshoot, which I cannot imagine the reshoots necessarily helped. You could tell the tone was all over the goddamn map. This project cost Miles the lead in La La Land, which, to be fair, as good as Miles is, I think they went with the better deal, or the better, casting there. And also, Josh had a Star Wars project ripped from him that was going to star Boba Fett. After he did this, I don't know if I want to see him involved in a Star Wars project. 3 whole action sequences were cut. Granted, they could have maybe compromised and gone with 2 hours. I don't know if it would have helped the third act at all. Mads Mikkelsen had basically auditioned to be Reed in 2005, or the 2005 version, and wanted to be Doom in this one. And no offense against Toby, but I think Mads would have been a much better Victor Von Doom. And perhaps, Josh wasn't cut out for this. So we go to Oyster Bay, New York, 2007. Reed basically is a young lad that says he wants to develop a teleportation device, is already working on it. Ben Grimm seems impressed by this. Ben Grimm works at a junkyard. Ben Grimm is abused by, or beaten up by his older brother, possibly just a school bully that wandered in and was just taken in by the family. And Reed is hiding there because he needs a power converter, because we're going to go to the power station, because we're going full robot holocaust here. Doc Juan, there is nobody that will get that. Nobody. If you get that, I love you guys. So, Reed and Grimm's friendship, they're building this stuff, and basically they are going to send a toy car to a different dimension and bring it back. Don't blow up, don't blow up. Too late, the movie blew up. The movie was already so dark you couldn't see what was going on. And I know that is something that's supposed to be attached to grittiness, but no, when you just don't want to light your goddamn movie, that really does prove that it was just a tonal misfire. KO'd the power in town. Sure it did. Yeah, I want to believe this kid's device just did that. Dr. Storm, a.k.a. Franklin. You'll recognize the actor. I'm not going to say everything in this, but we go realizing that the amount of goddamn, the goddamn bullshit going on in this. There's no chemistry. There is no enthusiasm. There is no life to this. And I'm not saying you need to go ha ha ha, all that and everything, and yuck, 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 like the 05 and 07 movies. But at least those had a little bit of life. They weren't good, but they had a little bit of life to them. And Franklin wants to work with Victor Von Doom, despite the fact he has a criminal background, but that's okay. Dr. Doom over here was a line that was said after Doom was very down about the planet's, basically the state of the planet. Oh, Dr. Doom over here. Everybody should have been slapped with fines for lines like that. So, basically, they send a monkey to, test out this new thing, this new device, this teleportation deal. I saw that 2015 cell phone technology, and the fact that the 2015 is 10 years ago, and that technology looks so goddamn old, given what we have now, given what I am currently shooting on, one of the newest Samsungs. It is absolutely insane how technology has advanced. Reed basically asked Ben to help him out because they're all going to work on this stuff. Franklin's going to fund this whole thing because he sees potential in them. It is all over the goddamn map. The cause is lost at this point. But Victor decides to join because he likes Sue. I mean, Kate Mara is a beautiful woman, but let's be perfectly honest. There are better ways to get a woman to like you than to get into a project about opening up a world to a new dimension where you will all gain superpowers from Nickelodeon slime. So after, by the way, Josh wanted to make Sue's family mixed because he came from a mixed family, and that's fine, man. I don't have a problem with that. It didn't lead to anything really that worked because him and Sue are supposed to be brother and sister, but they're going to take off into the, great unknown, this dimension, despite the fact that the other guys want to bring NASA in. But no, we're going to do this stuff. They do this stuff. Sue, by the way, stays behind, but we have Ben, we have Johnny, we have Reed, and we have Victor going there, and then they all rappel down the cliff, despite the fact Johnny stays up there. And they end up seeing, this River Fisher and everything, and this Nickelodeon slime Gak stuff. Who remembers Nickelodeon Gak? Who remembers that? That stuff wasn't as cool as they may have seemed in the commercial. It was really just slimy, silly putty that didn't actually, it wasn't as fun as it seemed. I lost, you could get a lot of hair in it, and yeah, if you didn't like vacuum, if you had hardwood floors, you were okay. Enough about products that make me feel old, because my God, that was old. Back when Nickelodeon was good. We have, they had basically, decided to also plant a flag there. Once they planted the flag, they saw the energy was like going to a certain area, so let's go there. Well, then they end up basically pissing off this alternate dimension later called Planet Zero. Victor ends up getting zapped and consumed and taken down into the goddamn, Nickelodeon slime thing. And then rocks end up in Ben's little pod, and fire ends up in Johnny's pod. Do you get it? Are we slapping you in the face enough with this? Ow. And then basically, as the ship comes back, Sue ends up getting knocked out by it, so she gets zapped, so now she's got powers. So halfway through, and they're all just discovering their powers. Again, hour and 42-minute movie. This is with end credits. 93 minutes pretty much is dedicated to the time. And we are at least, actually, I think we only have about 40-something minutes left. But Reed decides, hell, I'm going to escape. Now, he's going to help Ben, but he can't help Ben yet. You go that way. I'll leave. And Ben is, the CGI thing just didn't work. I mean, I'm not saying they could have necessarily made him, with all those prosthetics made, look good. But goddamn. Ben is basically tasked now with being a military weapon. Again, there are ideas here like, oh shit, these people are turned into these monsters with these powers. Let's use them for our own benefit. There are ideas here that could work. I mean, actually, if anything, it kind of reminds me of Chronicle. One of the guys turning bad and everything, despite the other two wanting to do good. I need to rewatch Chronicle at some point. But 1 year later, Ben is being used as a military weapon. Sue doesn't want to be a tool anymore. Believe me, there are already plenty of tools in this goddamn cast. And the idea is the military, or whoever this is, wants to... Well, Tim Blake Nelson was in this. You can tell him he always looks like a freaking Q-tip, with a face. I like Tim Blake Nelson. He just always looks odd to me. But the idea is they're going to use this energy on Planet Zero to possibly either make a new world or possibly create more soldiers like them. But the idea also is Franklin wants to help find a cure, like their fucking Dr. Mario. He's got the cure. Who remembers that ad? Who remembers Dr. Mario? How fun was that game? Reed is, he can change his face. He can change his language. He's living in a shotgun shack. My God, what has he done? The days don't go by too much. They end up finding him. Ben knocks him out. He's pissed off at him. They bring him back to complete this gate thing, because they're trying to complete this gate to go back to the world. 28 minutes left. They are on the new world, or in the alternate dimension. They find Doom, And Doom basically is brought back, but he's like, that was a nice world. I was happy there, and you all are going to watch this world get destroyed. Boom. I'm just going to destroy this world right there. Yes, he was left behind. Yes, I get it, but at the same time, what were they going to do? Get him and possibly be dragged into the world also? Maybe you should have climbed faster, Victor. So, I realized that Doom at this point looked like the main villain in System Shock 2. That is a deep cut for video game fans. He can fry people's minds with his brain, just like everybody's minds were fried watching Fantastic Four 2015. So, he kills a few soldiers. Now they're suddenly going to team up. The four are going to team up. Boom, they're just going to team up. Super dark hallway. Let's all go find Doom. Doom's back in the alternate world, but is sucking everything up from this world in the military complex and all that, creating a big old crater, sucking it up into his world. What is he going to do with all this broken stuff? Form it and make, I don't know, a giant military-based Super Bowl? But they end up, going there to basically take him down. Now, we have 20 minutes left. They rushed a lot of this stuff. Now, whether they were going to have extra action sequences, even if they had stuff and developed their powers more, we literally went from, I think it was like 45 minutes of them figuring out their powers, Reed getting, caught in that shack, brought back, and all that. And by 20 minutes, they're battling Doom. They accelerated this fucking thing. And again, grittiness does not equal anything good when the grittiness is so goddamn, just like bleh. It's just meh. Just doesn't work. So, Doom has superpowers, obviously. He trapped the thing in a bunch of rocks. He rocked him, as it were. There is no victor. There is only Doom. Oh, there is only Zool. And then boom, we're going to team up as the four. It's clobbering time. We just get all this fan service stuff. And they throw Victor into this beam and trap him and do whatever, and he disappears, seemingly, or he's transported to another world. It's hard to tell. And they sort of save the world, except for the giant crater with the military base and all the dead bodies there. Some of which Victor killed. And they're in Central City. And, the Franklin Storm Research Center. Well, Dad didn't like his name being put on that, but Ben says, I gotta say it's fantastic. Wait, say that again? The Fantastic Four. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah. This movie deserved to cost people, like, their goddamn, big breaks in their career. This movie was awful. This movie is god-awful. And it was awful on multiple levels. I mean, studio interference abound. Grittier version probably would have only taken them so far. I would like to have seen what a horror version of Fantastic Four would have been. All we got was a horrifying vision of Fantastic Four. First Steps has to be better. My God, it has to be better. If it is as bad as this one, dear God in heaven, that advertising lied to us. Yeah, Fantastic Four 2015 is absolutely terrible. I realized I didn't even bother to put a spoiler section on there because you know what? The movie's 10 years old and you know how bad it is. So agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Rentland. Until we meet again, happy trails to you.